Anybody out there? Hey, Alex. Hey, Ramon. Thanks for chiming in, fellas. It's going well, going well. We'll get to chatting here in a minute. You know, the same old deal. I'll rattle my guns about shake and bake for a few minutes, and then we'll get in the chat, and hopefully you guys will keep me going for an hour again. Everything good? Video, audio, everything good? All right, no problem, Alex. I appreciate you coming in on live, even on your phone. I appreciate it. All right, thanks, Ramon. I appreciate it. We'll give folks a few more minutes here. Give folks a few more minutes, and then we'll get going. All right, Ramon. That's pretty awesome, man. Working and watching me, watching the live. I appreciate it. All right, it's right at 9 o'clock. I'll get the yap in my gums, and then we'll turn it over to the chat and see what happens. I think we got 5 people, something like that, in the chat. But you know, I really do appreciate each and every one of you folks out there taking. Hey Jay, what's going on, buddy? But I appreciate each and every one of y'all folks taking time, you know, taking an hour out of your Wednesday night to come in here and chat. And then not only that, but, you know, watching the videos, going through those ads. I know those ads are a pain in the butt, but I definitely appreciate it, no doubt. Shake and Bake definitely appreciates it because you know the deal. Every red penny goes right back into Shake and Bake. All right, Jay's in the garage. All right, Jay, get in there, finish up, buddy. I know you're close, right? I know you're close. So this video is going to take y'all back a little bit. If y'all remember, Larry, he had a white shaker scat pack, and I was still NA at the time, so this was a really good race. But all right, Jay, you sneaking in some hits. All right, buddy. Yeah, I know, Bruce. An hour. I do try and keep it at an hour. I really do. And we're usually pretty good at stopping right around 10 o'clock. But I definitely got to stop at 10 o'clock because I got a bunch of stuff I got to do before I go to bed. Jay, I try and keep up with IG, but sometimes, man, you know the deal. Those guys get chatty Cathy, man, and I can't keep up with the chat sometimes. But y'all know the deal. So I know most of y'all watch the videos. You probably saw the video that I posted on Monday. You know, I got to admit, I'm a little disappointed. Not in the car, not in anything we did to the car, but it's just I can't get the car to hook. Now, after that video, I've got a lot of stuff to take in, because everybody, you know, had their I don't want to say opinion, but had their little, you know, tricks of the trade. My guys in the chat, Jay and Mike, they gave me a few things to think about. So I got a lot to think about on trying to get Shake and Bake to hook. You know, anywhere from you know, the burnouts and the length of the burnouts. But then the Mickeys, you know, you go too long in a burnout, you kind of haze them over. It's been rough. It's been rough for me trying to get Shake and Bake to hook. You guys have seen, most of y'all have seen, or hopefully all of you have seen all the racing videos where every single weekend I just cannot seem to hook. No matter what I do, whether it's a short burnout for the Mickeys, it's a long burnout with the Mickeys. Tire pressure, I've taken it all the way down to 15 psi in the ET Street R's, and that's really low for those. I mean, before last year, well, not last year because I was on Hoosiers last year, but the year before when I ran Mickeys, I was running 21 pounds. And I know Jay and Mike, if you're on here, I know we talked about, you know, the nitrous and using the nitrous out of the hole, and it gives you that instant torque, instant power. I am looking at definitely getting some Hoosier DBRs. Ooh, yeah, we are going way back, man. I got the chrome fronts on there. That's going way back. But I am looking at doing some different things to try and get the car to hook up. SRT Hellcat already, brother. Thanks for chiming in. I appreciate it. So yeah, so that's been my problem. It's not that I don't think the car will go nines. I think the car is I mean, with it not hooking, running 10 ones and 10 twos, with a hook, it's got to be a low 10.0, possibly that 999. Yeah, Jay, I tried 18. I went to 17. I went to 16. Hey, Boosted Hemi, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. I definitely appreciate the donation there, buddy. I appreciate it. You know the deal. It's going right back into Shake and Bake, 100%. And I 100% appreciate the sport, really do. You know, it's you guys that really, you folks. I use guys in the general sense. So if there's some females out there, some women out there, I use guys in the general sense. Please don't kill me with that. But getting in the shower. All right, Boosted Hemi. I appreciate it, brother. I really do appreciate it. I really do. But yeah, I've tried 18J, 17, 16, 15. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's just not working. So here's part of my plan. We're still looking at getting the two-step put in. Along with the two-step, we're looking at putting in a nitrous controller as well. So that way we don't necessarily pull the nitrous in on the hit. We let the two-step and the boost do that, and then pour the nitrous in after, after half a second or a second or so. And it's run on RPMs, not by time. So we'll probably bring it in around, that 4,000, 5,000 range. bring it in somewhere around there. And then that way, hopefully with the two-step, we hook and then bring in the nitrous and boom, we should have our nines. That's one plan. Also to go along that plan, like I said earlier, I'm looking at some Hoosier DBRs, drag bracket radials, right? And looking at possibly going a little bit taller tire to bring that effective gear ratio up or down a little bit, to take away a little bit of power off the launch, and then with the different compound of the DBRs, crossing my fingers that will get me to hook. So what I want to try is with the current tires, with the Mickey Thompson ET Street R's, get the two-step and the nitrous controller stuck in there. Take a weekend or two to try and dial that in. If we can't get it to hook with that, then I'll look at ordering probably some taller DBRs, probably the 29.5 inch, 29.5 by 10.5 by 17s. Again, to lower that effective gear ratio, lower that effective gear ratio a little bit. I'm not even sure what my effective gear ratio is right now with the 309s and 28 inch tires. But hopefully get that down a little bit, maybe in the high twos. Then another thing is also, a lot of us have been talking about a second gear launch. So that's something I'm going to have to talk to Dave. Not sure if he's done that before. But talk to Dave, see what we can do about looking at possibly getting a second gear launch and then bringing in the nitrous either right out of the hole, or again with the controller bring it in a little bit after the launch, to see how that goes. So we got a lot of things going. Yeah, I know, Jay. Everyone says it's like I say second gear launch. Everybody says it's bad with the Pro Charger. I agree, because the Pro Charger, it gets its power from the high end. Yeah, it's. Oh, so I got a number of things we're going to try. I'm sure somebody's got them, Jay. I'll find some from somebody. So boosted Hemi, I got a 13960 on the 29.5 inch DBR launching in second. Good job, man. That's awesome. That's an awesome 60 foot. But like Jay said, right, I'm coming off a Pro Charger, not a IHI a supercharger. So a little different mix there. But yeah, so like I said, we're gonna keep the Mickeys for now. We're gonna try the two-step and the nitrous controller. Take maybe a weekend or two to try and figure that out. If we can't get that figured out, then I'll look at finding some DBRs. All right, Bruce. That's what I'm talking about, man. Picking up girls while you're talking to Modern Red Hemi. That's pretty awesome right there. Yeah. Well, Bruce, you know the deal. We're going to figure it out. And once we do, watch out. All right, Jay. Once I start looking for them, I'll let you know. Yeah, that's the only thing with the second gear launch. That's everyone says second gear launch doesn't work with the Pro Charger, and I get it. But if I can't hook, I gotta do something. I gotta do something to hook. See, this is going way back, because I was running Hoosiers way back then. And this is running Larry in his Scat Pack. So Larry now has, if you're not familiar with Larry, he now has a CTSV. The last I saw him, he had a CTSV that he was working on. So that's the near term things we're looking at for Shake and Bake. After that, I've been pinging pinging Mike, hey, when can we get her in there and do the engine swap? At this point, you know, it is what it is. We're either going to get that 9 before I do the engine swap, or we're not. But I think I've proven that it's possible if I could hook. And I would argue probably most of the people in here understand what I'm talking about, that, hey, the times I'm running by not hooking and my mile an hour, many of those runs should have been a 9. I'm just going to hang my hat on that one and call it a night. Call it a night for that. But like I said, we're looking probably early to mid-May to do the swap. And we'll see if the high ram with the Tick Performance intercooler fits under the shaker when I move it to the top. And if it doesn't, I don't really care. I'll find another hood and cut that hood up. I'm not going to cut up my shaker hood. I'm going to keep it. Not really sure why, but I'm going to keep it unless there's a way we can modify it just a tad. You know, if I have to cut it a little bit, I may think about doing that to make it fit. Which I think my problem is either going to be up by the windshield or where the throttle body comes in. That may be a little bit too far forward for the shaker, but I'll have to see about that. But that's the plan, is either we slightly modify the shaker hood and put the shaker on top and make it work, or I get a junkyard hood, cut it up, and call it a day. And you guys have heard that several times. It's almost every time we're on the chat, I say, that's what we're doing. That's where we're going. So that's what we're going to do. It's either I'm going to keep the hood or I'm not. It doesn't really matter to me at this point. And then after that, there's a number of ways we could go to either come up with some kind of cowl to cover it up, or look at, here we go, right? Look at something like a Lexan or something malleable, right, that we can heat up and just make a see-through cowl to put over top of it, so everyone knows exactly what's in there. That may even be a better idea. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But you know, even though I'm disappointed, I still had a great time at the track. It does get frustrating, you know, when you can't. I think frustrated is a better word than disappointed. Just frustrated with the fact that I can't hook. But we'll get there. We'll get there. And if we don't, we'll get there when the new engine comes in. Yeah, Hugh, there's been a few people who said load up the converter, so that takes some of the harshness off the launch. That could work as well. I haven't tried that yet, so that's another thing I can try. Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing with the controller, Hugh, is come in with the controller, bring in the nitrous later, instead of bringing it on wide open throttle right there at the launch. So I don't have a pedal commander. I used to have a sprint booster, but I sold it. But that's an idea no one has come up with, is taking a pedal commander or one of those, what are they? Throttle response gadgets, and turning it down so it comes in more slow. That's interesting. I may have to talk to the guy I sold my sprint booster to and get it back, and maybe give that a try, Hugh. That's an interesting thought, man. You got me thinking on that one. But I'm curious, if I do that and come in more slowly, what that's gonna do to my 60 foot. But it'd be interesting to see if it works, and still cut a decent 60 foot. You got me thinking of that last one. So, like I said, people have told me, try loading the converter. Mac told me try loading the converter, which is a great thought, right? To take some of the harshness out of the launch, and then a different switch for the nitrous. That's another idea that's been bounced around. But I think with using the controller, we can try and fix it through the controller if we have to. But you got me thinking on the pedal commander idea. I'll say throttle response. I don't know if I'll get a pedal commander because I've still heard too many issues with pedal commanders when it comes to especially a lot of the Dodges out there. So probably stay away from pedal commander. Maybe try one of the other, maybe one of the cheaper ones. I think there's a couple out there for like $100 or $120. Maybe I'll try one of those. Yeah, Ramon. The more I think about the clear hood idea, it's really got me thinking. All right, Bruce and Jay are going back and forth with the second gear launch for the stick guys. All right, Armani, what's going on, brother? Thanks for chiming in, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, Jay. So that's another one. Is the adjustable shocks. So if Mike goes to his what are they, Mensers? I think it's Mensers or Mensers. If he goes with those shocks, I'm gonna buy his Vikings off of him and see what we can do with possibly getting some adjustable rear shocks. Keep the 90-10 up front, put some adjustable rear shocks in, and see what happens. Yeah, Ramon, we're talking about taking the I'll say it, throttle response device and turning it down, not turning it up, turning it down so it comes in slower. It's got me thinking. But also I could talk to Dave and say, hey, take the throttle response down some and see if we can take a little harshness out of the launch. But because that's what a lot of people say. Hey, you can always tune throttle response. You can. So there's a lot of stuff we can try. A lot of stuff we can try. Do you guys know about bore and stroke? Like, can you overbore and keep the stock stroke? One of you engine guys, that's a question for you. In my mind, I would venture to say yes, Bruce, but I'm not an engine builder, so don't quote me on that. So don't quote me on that because I don't know 100% sure. But it makes sense to me if you just bore it out, you can keep. Matter of fact, I did that. So my forged engine, we bored it over 20, and I got the same stroke because I got the 6.1 crank, which is the same stroke as a 5.7. So yes. So now I'm saying yes, you can do that. And I know you can because it's in my in my forged engine. All right, Armani's talking back to Jay. Hugh, that's another great point. That's another great point. So much to the chagrin of a lot of people, last year I had Hoosier bias plies, slicks on the rear, and I had Mickey Thompson Sportsman radials up front. Now, I never got any of the shake and rattle and roll that a lot of people say they do when they mix and match radials and bias ply. I don't recommend anyone else do it. I just never had a problem with it. The entire last year, I never had an issue with running that split setup like that. Now, do I want to do it again? No. So if I was to go with a Hoosier bias ply slick, I would go ahead and get some bias ply fronts to go along with that. But we're going to try the DBRs first because they are, if I'm not mistaken, they're the same compound as the bias ply. So the thought is, if I got the same compound, hopefully we get the same stickiness. Again, crossing my fingers. But I don't want to have to buy new tires unless I don't have to. So we're going to try everything else first. Hey, Gary, thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. I tell you, all y'all, Shake and Bake loves y'all too. I promise you. I promise you. Gary, I appreciate the donation, brother. I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate your support. I appreciate everyone's support. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate everyone's support. But hey, when you throw that super chat out there, I really do appreciate it, man. 100%. All right, so back to Hugh. Yes. Definitely going to slick, whether I go a 29.5 DBR or I just say screw it and I go back to the Hoosier bias plies and put some bias plies on the front as well. All right, White Knuckle, thanks, buddy. Because I had to think about that. I'm like, wait a minute. I did. Yes. So the machine shop did that with my forged engine. We bored it 20 over and kept it the same stroke. That's true, Bruce. Everyone's got to learn, especially with the whole new. It's not a whole new suspension, but the drag shocks are new. I didn't have them last year, and the Mickey Thompsons are new. I didn't have them last year. I had them 2 years ago, but I didn't have them last year. So again, it's learning what works for those tires, and we're either going to figure it out or we're going to get new tires. Yeah, Ramon, there's, like I said, there's a bunch of them out there. Pedal Max, Pedal Roar. I forget some of the other ones. There's a bunch out there. I know there's a couple that are only, just over $100. So I may look into that. All right, so we're going back to Bruce again. You can absolutely do bore without stroking it. Armani, when are you going to throw the new motor in? All right, I talked about that earlier. We're looking probably early to mid-May. So I've got 2 weekends, maybe 3 weekends on the current setup to actually get something to work before we go to full bore on the new setup. So that's what I'm looking. Early to mid-May. It's coming. And there's going to be multiple videos coming out of that. I want to get some really in-depth videos of tearing down the current engine, what it looks like, what damage, if there is any, and really, necking that down for everybody to like, hey, here's what Shake and Bake did. Here's the deal. We went from 8 pounds of PSI to 15, 16 pounds. And here's what your engine's going to look like. We went from 93 in boost name to Sunoco 104. What is it? GT 260 plus is what we were running for a while. And then we went from all that stuff to E85. So if you started with all that stuff, and here's what your engine's going to look like if you go to E85 for 2 years. So lots of videos are going to come out of doing that engine swap for sure. Does a Holley high ram fit under the shaker without the intercooler? And does it fit under the shaker with an intercooler? Right? That's, there's been a few people with shakers ask me that question, so I'm gonna get there. It's just a matter of time. And then obviously swapping what we're gonna swap from the old engine to the new engine. Yeah, there's gonna be a number of videos coming out of that. So the problem with the DVR is it's still a stiff radial and side. Yeah, it does, but it gives me more sidewall. So it'll be right. There's arguments for both. There's arguments both ways, right? And that's true. We could do some 8 mile races if we had to see if the slicks work. But slick is on the list, Hugh, 100%. Whether we go with the DBR or we go back to bias ply, and then you got people saying, bias plies are for stick cars, not for automatic cars. But I ran it all last year and it worked perfectly fine. But anyway, Hugh, we're gonna figure this out, buddy. I promise you. And if we don't figure it out before the new engine comes, then we just don't figure it out. And we just move on. Armani, are you going to run the high ram on the current motor or only on the new motor? Only on the new motor. The only thing I might do is do a test fit of the high ram just to see if it's going to fit under the shaker. But I'm not going to put it on the old motor. No, all that new stuff is for the new motor. Hey, Timothy, thanks for joining in, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, Bruce. Majority wins. Yeah, it's going to be close. I think without the intercooler, I think it'll work. With the intercooler, I don't think the hump in the high ram is going to get in the way, but where the throttle body comes in, I think is going to be where we need to possibly do some modification to the shaker side, or if it's too much of a modification, like I said, I'm just going to switch a hood and get another hood and just cut one big hole in there and be done with it. I'm not going to mess around too long trying to figure out how to make the shaker work with the high ram and the intercooler because I'm not giving up the intercooler to do that. Now you can run a different intercooler, right? Something that comes up through the front in front of the radiator and come in that way, and then shorten it down to where it might fit under the shaker. I'm going with what I got. I'm going with what I got. I'm going to make it work one way or the other. All right, Junior, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for chiming in. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're definitely we're definitely not gonna just willy-nilly cut the hood up. We're just gonna cut what we need, and then like I said, worst case scenario, we find some kind of cowl to put over top of it, or like I said, looking at probably something like a Lexan or something we can shape and mold into a cowl, and then it's see-through and you can see the high ram with the intercooler in there. I think that'd be really cool. If I have to cut the hood and do a cowl, I'd like to do the see-through thing. But if that's not possible, we'll just either fabricate something or buy something online. Wife snagged me Daytona ultra low profile racing jack this weekend. Nice. Yeah, those are really nice. They are. Don't cut the stock hood. The only time I'm gonna cut the current shaker hood is if it's minor, right? If I only gotta cut a little bit out of there, I think between me and hopefully the guy I'm looking at doing the body work to get the shaker on top, I think we can figure out a way if it's minor, if it's not a huge cut. If it has to be a huge cut, then definitely not going to cut the shaker hood. I'll just pull it off, get another cheap hood, and make that work. But that's the plan. Plan is to use the current hood and the shaker on top. But if it's just not going to work and it's too much trouble, I'm just going to get another hood and do it that way. All right, you guys are 33 minutes in. You're slowing down in the chat, man. I need some help. I've said the same thing a couple. I think I've discussed the same thing a couple times just to keep us going. And then we had someone use their hood as a mold for carbon. Right on, brother. There's people out there that make carbon fiber hoods. They're super, super expensive, but there's people out there that make carbon fiber hoods. They make carbon fiber doors, all that carbon fiber stuff. Yeah, Hugh, I thought about that too. There's a number of directions we can go, depending on whether it fits or not. I mean, that's the biggest question, and I think I can't do it this week. Possibly one day next week, if I get time. Maybe when we do the 2-step install, if we have time, I may do, like I said, a dry fit of just the high ram to see if it would fit, and that would answer the question right there, and then we can go from there. Oh, I got you, shaker. Shaker hoods. I got you, brother. I got you. Now I see where you're going. No problem, Jay. No, fix your car, brother. You don't have to. You don't have to watch. Fix your car. That's more important right now. Timothy's been looking for carbon fiber shaker hood. That's interesting. That's interesting. Or maybe we get a totally custom carbon fiber hood with the see-through cowl. Anybody got a couple grand so I can find someone to do a custom carbon fiber hood? Bruce, he's got the 4-ton Daytona. Nice. Nice. Definitely. But yeah, there's just a lot going on, man. trying to figure out how to hook, trying to figure out, hey, how's the new engine and the new setup gonna work? It's almost overwhelming. Just sitting back thinking about it. Yeah, carbon fiber hood would be expensive for sure. I didn't see anyone throw any numbers out there, but yeah, carbon fiber hood would be expensive. Yeah, Junior, that's again. If it doesn't work out with the shaker hood, that's what I'm probably gonna wind up looking for a wrecked V6 somewhere that's got a good hood and taking that hood. I don't need a Hellcat hood. I don't need a red eye hood. I don't need any of those crazy hoods. I just need a basic hood that I can just cut up and make it happen. But that's the plan. Either we make it work with the shaker and put the shaker on top, or we get like a V6 hood, cut it up and put a cowl on it. That's exactly what we're doing. Rich, car is pulling 3 to 4 degrees timing the last couple track days. 93 pump with VP's Octanium. Might be time to replace the fuel pump and ditch the BAP. Yeah, I just I, I just never had much confidence in the BAPs, and that's why I didn't go with one. Is I just didn't have the confidence between the single pump and the BAP that, not that it's not good enough. I'm just not super familiar with the safety aspect of running a BAP. And if, the fuel pump cuts out or the BAP cuts out, does the car know that they cut out and then compensates for that and shuts the car down? I'm not 100% familiar with that stuff, but that's why I went with the dual pump. And oh, by the way, we're going triple pump on the new setup. we're just going all out. We're going to go triple pump on the new setup too. So once I pull shake and bake in, the dual pump's getting pulled out and sent off to Four Innovations for the triple pump. So it's like 300-ish to make it a triple pump, and then another, $150, $200 for a third pump. Yeah, the hoods aren't super heavy. Back to the hood thing. But yeah, Rich, I'd definitely go for either the dual pump. Where you're at, I just go for the dual pump. And you can stay on the stock lines too. Just get the dual pump drop in. And then if you ever did want to go full return with it, you're already set up for it. Timothy, I can fix a broken neck on a violin, refinish a Les Paul. I can learn carbon fiber molding. Whether or not I'm too lazy to do it is the real problem. All right, Timothy. Hey, you may be onto something right there. We'll have to see what we can do. We may talk later, Timothy. Yeah, Bruce, I'm curious to see the internal shake and bake too, man. There almost has to be something has to be at least minorly messed up in there. I would be thoroughly surprised if there's not something bent, not sealing properly, something along those lines. There almost has to be something. All right, Bruce, go get you another one, brother. Hugh, pulling timing could easily be caused by false knock. That is also true. Log it and see if the knock sensors are behaving. Check and make sure exhaust isn't hitting the frame. Yep. All right, see, you're going down it, Rich. You're going down it. Dual pump and switch to E85. Get on that corn. All right, Rich. Yeah, we'll definitely see you at the track again. No doubt about it. All right, Jay. Come on, man. Take your time, brother. There's no rush. Yeah, Rich, you are. You're super close, buddy. You're super close. E85 will put you over. We'll put you over for sure. Good night, brother. Have a good one. We'll see you on the next one or out at the track. Truss rod versus violin. I stripped my Les Paul Nitro and stain, refinished it. Nice. Way to go, Tim. So I still have my cats, Hugh. I still have my cats. I actually think they're holding me back too, but I have my cats. Contrary to some popular belief, I still do have my catalytic converters. And I think that's another thing we're going to check when we pull the engine. I'm going to take a look at those catalytic converters and make sure they're good to go and they're not all clogged up or anything. And we may wind up pulling them at that point anyway. Allegedly. Allegedly. All right, Timothy. No, I promise you 100%. I have Cook's green high flow cats. For now. Don't tell the EPA. But running E85, I am probably cleaner than most of the cars on the road today that aren't burning E85. Yeah, Hugh, I'm with you on that one. You know, that's another internet thing on how much cats rob power. But Bruce, nice looks with Matt Raven series, but sustained. Now it's really apple and banana with the car. It's all right. Yeah, Jay, that's what I'm saying. Right? Stick it to you, EPA. My shit's probably cleaner than before I did the modifications. All right, Timothy. Good job, Jay. Keep knocking her out, bro. All right, Timothy. That's pretty good. And how does a catalytic converter work? It catalyzes. Why, of course it does. That's like answering a question with a question. Hugh, E85, only 15 miles from my house, thinking of going flex fuel. Your car will support it. Nice. Yeah, I recommend it, man. The only thing is, you depending on where you are, you got to keep an eye on the content. If it's one of the name brand folks, like a Sheets or a Royal Farms, or something like that, in the wintertime, you're gonna get really, really low. Low. I'm talking like low 70s, high 60s, from some of those places. Uh, where I got the one place I go outside of Fort Meade, he consistently gets 80% or better. His E85 is always 80% or better. Even through the wintertime. He doesn't get that winter blend stuff that the major players get. So that's the only thing with the 85 is and you're going flex fuel, so your car will compensate for it. But those that have cars that are on E85 that aren't flex fuel, right? And you're just E85, you got to be very, very, very careful when you do that, because, like I said, some of them gas stations have some sketchy stuff. All right, we're boiling down to the last 13 minutes, guys. Come on, keep me talking. Keep me talking. But yeah, I'm still hoping to get a few good weeks of racing in before we do the swap. Hopefully the weather holds out. We get a couple more cool days at the track to where it's not too bad, and we try and get some more good runs in before it gets too hot. And that's kind of why we're doing it in May, right? May starts warming up quite a bit in May. So that's why I want to do the swap then. So when it does get hot, I got the intercooler to help me out. And supposedly now Tick Performance says that intercooler is good for up to 1,400 horsepower. So we're gonna put that to the test. we're gonna put that to the test. Even if I have to go to a F1A 94. We're gonna put the new engine to the test. Yeah, we're some big plans in the future. So I know there were some people that were not negative, but not a wholly positive when I said I had a 105 millimeter throttle body. They're like, yeah, that's a a 4-inch hole, and you're only putting out 3.5-inch hole. Well, that's true. That's true. That's true for now. For now. Future, I may have a 4-inch hole coming out of there and not just a 3.5-inch. Yeah, Jay, you got the 4.5K to drop on that bad boy. Anyone heard Cetera Performance's E85 kit that detects gas or E85 is reliable? I to be honest, I haven't heard much about that. I haven't really delved into looking at that. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from calling them and asking them questions, and see what they say, right? And then you kind of got to go with your gut sometimes. All right, Bruce. I got you, brother. Yeah, I know, Jay. I'm with you, brother. All right, Hayes, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for chiming in. I know we got the last 9 minutes, but I appreciate you chiming in, brother. 100%. All right. Hey, Dan, quit talking. Let's get some racing. There's Leah, by the way. That was a couple years ago. She was out there racing. Yeah, I know how you feel, Jay. I'm pretty much tapped out myself right now, but I am planning for the future. Hey, right, Beamer going back to 3-pedal J. Whipple head unit is getting hot. Any ideas as to what it could be? 3-liter Gen 5. You know what they call Whipple? A hot air intake. The Whipples just get hot. They just create heat, a lot of it. They really do. I mean, you can keep an eye on it. Not really sure what you can do about it because I'm not super familiar with Whipple and how they do things. But yeah, Icebox definitely is gonna help you. Definitely gonna help you out. Yeah, it's just yeah, Whipples just get hot. They do. Hey Tim, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for chiming in. I appreciate it. All right, Bruce, we'll check you next week. Yeah, Hayes, like I said, Icebox will definitely do you justice. Not sure how it'll keep the Whipple cooled down. It might. I mean, it's gonna cool down a little bit, right? Depending on where you put the intercooler, right? If you put it outside of, if you put it before the Whipple, it may help cool down the Whipple a little bit as well. I mean, if you put it after the Whipple, yeah, yeah, yeah. But like I said, Icebox definitely do you justice. But that's right. Whipples have their own intercooler already built in, I think, right? Everybody's jumping in on that one now. Yeah, the positive displacement, they all create heat. That's what they call them, hot air intakes. But yeah, like I said, the Icebox will definitely do you justice. So Hayes, which pulley are you running, and which pulley is he running? Are y'all running the same pulleys? Are y'all running the same boost? Are you both spinning the screws at the same RPMs? So there's a lot goes into that between warm and hot, right? It all depends on a lot of things, right? Really, what it mostly depends on is how fast you're spinning the screws within that blower, right? So if he's, just for example, if he's spinning it at 50,000 and you're spinning it at 60,000, yours is going to be much more hotter than what his is. But if you're running the same setup and the same pulleys and you're spinning it the same, then you might have something going on in there. You could have something that's not 100% straight. There's got to be some friction in there creating heat somewhere. So maybe your screws are off a little bit. Yeah, there could be a lot of things that would make yours hotter than your buddies. Should I sell my 5.7 for a 2024 Mustang Dark Horse? Eh, I'd keep the 5.7 me. It's just because that's me. I'd keep the 5.7. So hey, he's 3.5 inch and he's running a smaller pulley. So all right, either of you running an ATI overdrive, underdrive? Um, do you guys have the ATI? Does he have a 10% or you got a 10%? Again, you gotta start comparing apples to apples. But with him being a smaller pulley and not making as much heat as you may have something wrong inside. You tell him, Jay. Wrong chat for that question. Shoot, yeah, keep your 5.7. Screw that Mustang Dark Horse. No, it is a nice car. It is. But I'd keep my 5.7 100%. All right, Tim. Boy, you got the heat quick with that question, buddy. People started jumping on you fast. Yeah, see that's there you go. There you go, Hayes. If your overdrive is 10% bigger than his, you're probably spinning your screws faster than he is. Again, it would depend on how much smaller his upper pulley is than yours, but you could very well be spinning just with that difference. You very well could be spinning yours faster than he is. What I would do is nail down your setup, nail down his setup, and just go to there's a gazillion calculators out there, or just call Whipple themselves and be like, hey, his Whipple's not getting hot. Here's his setup. My Whipple's getting hot. Here's my setup. Why is my Whipple hotter than his? And they can tell you, or just ask the question, hey, which one's spinning faster, mine or his? Yeah. That's really the best thing to do, is go straight to the manufacturer with your setups, and just say, hey, what's the deal here? Mine's hot, his is. All right, Tim, you trying to get it back now. You lost it. You lost it up there. Now you're trying to get it back. I got you, brother. All right, Timothy, max wedge. My belief is one of the two intercoolers is not hooked up right. That could, yeah. I mean, yeah, you'd have to trace the lines to figure that one out. Hugh's got a Mustang, and better off 392. Getting a Mustang, I feel like I'm in a small closet or a coffin. Yeah, Alex, I want to say I put it in numerous videos, but that's why I didn't go with the Mustang, because it was almost made me claustrophobic sitting in one of them bad boys. Same thing with the Camaro. It was pretty tight. And when I rented the Scat Pack, I was 100% sold after that. It was either, Scat Pack, 5.7. It was one of those two at the time. And it just wound up, I got shake and bake, which I'm 100% happy I did. All right, Jay. Jay, pump it up, Hugh. So he's making 750 and you're making 650. It's tough, man. It's tough. You really got to nail down, Hayes. You really got to nail down the specifics of his build and the specifics of your build. And I would call Whipple and just see what they think. Yeah, Tim. Mustangs are tight, man. The Mustangs are tight. I don't think it's so much height wise, it's width wise. I mean, you are really elbow to elbow with your partner if you got someone sitting in the passenger seat. But who runs with passenger seats anymore, right? Who needs you can't take a passenger on the racetrack. So who needs that passenger seat? But anyway, that's why I didn't go with Mustang. All right, we're past 10 and you guys are keeping me going. All right, you're going back and forth about the Camaro and the Mustang. Thanks, Ramon. I appreciate it. Hayes, have a good night too, brother. All right, here's where I go. Love you guys and gals. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all supporting me. And Shake and Bake definitely appreciates all the support that you folks provide in helping out on my journey to have one of the best 5.7s out there. And I think I'm close. We do the new setup. No doubt in my mind, we'll have one of the best 5.7s. Definitely on YouTube, possibly out there around. All right. But again, appreciate y'all's support. Y'all have a great one. We'll be back next week. Adios.